kid, did you ever have hopes and dreams for the future that to most sounded unrealistic and impossible, but to you, they were as real as could be? At a very young age, I decided that I was going to be an Olympic athlete. I dreamed, like millions of other children, that I'd get the chance to represent my country, like the athletes I so greatly admire. As I've grown older, I realized I will probably never be an Olympic athlete. However, I've also realized that it's not just winning an Olympic medal that made me admire these athletes. Today, I'm going to tell you about 3 people who have not only used their success to become great as an athlete, but have also turned the focus back to God, the giver of their gifts and abilities. These 3 are Shawn Johnson, David Boudia, and Allyson Felix. The first of these is Shawn Johnson. I remember sitting in my living room watching the Beijing 2008 Olympics and leaping and jumping around the room, desperately wanting to imitate her as she was going for the gold in the gymnastics events. However, it was her teammate, Nastia Liukin, who came home with the all-around gold. Subconsciously, I had chosen Shawn as my hero, but why? Shawn struggled with depression and a fear of failure and not living up to the standards that she set for herself. It wasn't until she found her relationship with Christ that she found true joy and happiness in what she did. In an article written about her in the Christian Post, she says, "God is the answer to everything. He will always be my greatest and proudest reward." Another athlete that I admire and desire to emulate is David Boudia. I remember the first time I had the courage to go off the diving board at our local swimming pool. I was so nervous, I was shaking like a leaf. My heart was in my stomach, and I couldn't imagine how these Olympic athletes do it, how they could train their brain to tell them to jump and flip and twist and land safely and trust that they're going to land safely in the pool. I had always admired David Boudia at that point in my life solely because he could put his fears aside and jump without fear of getting hurt. However, it wasn't until I watched the Olympics this summer that happened in Rio that I realized what I truly admired about him. In an interview after winning silver in the synchronized diving event with his partner Steele Johnson, David was asked about how he copes with the pressures of competing at the Olympic Games. He said, "Both Steele and I know that our identity is in Christ." This comment caught me off guard as I was watching the TV. To hear an Olympic athlete acknowledge Christ as his source of strength and the giver of his talents was incredible, and I wanted to emulate that in my life. Last but certainly not least, Allyson Felix is an incredible example of a woman of Christ who has used her athletic success to not only achieve great world records and medals, but has also stayed humble and turned the focus back to God. Recently, she became the most decorated USA track and field Olympic athlete in the history of the Olympic Games. Allyson still acknowledges Christ as her source of strength and identity. In an article written about her in the Los Angeles Times by Philip Hirsch, she writes, "I've learned that my running is not what defines me. My faith defines me. I run because I've been blessed with a gift." As a fellow female Christian runner, I feel a special connection to Allyson Felix. She has chosen to use her pedestal and her Olympic platform to give the glory back to God. It would be very easy for her to enjoy the fame and success. However, she wants to acknowledge the true giver of these gifts and talents. I hope that I can be like her and share God's love with my teammates by doing the same thing. God has given everyone unique talents and gifts and abilities, but He gave them to us. We didn't earn them. As Christians, God calls us to use these talents to bring glory to Him and give Him credit for our accomplishments. It's easy to get lost in the worldly praise and acclamation from athletic success as well as academic and other successes. It would have been very easy for these 3 world-class athletes to do the same and sit back and enjoy the success and fame. However, they chose a different path. Though I probably will never be an Olympic athlete like Shawn Johnson, David Boudia, and Allyson Felix, I hope that I'll have the courage to give God the glory in both my successes and my failures, and keep what what should be in focus.
Yay!
Any questions, comments, or critiques? Go ahead.
I liked how you made your voice carry for us to all hear very clearly, and you spoke slow enough for us to understand and follow you. That's very good.
Thank you.
I liked your smile. It was very engaging. It made you very believable. I believed you felt like what you said. You believed what you said.
Great topic.
Yes, I'm very glad to know those things about those athletes.
Thank you.